Cars on fire. Cars on fire. Start EMS. Cars on fire. We need EMS. We need fire trucks. Start EMS.
This is nuts. It was a high-speed chase. The car just flipped, caught on fire, and now the woods is catching on fire.
Good evening. We begin tonight with developing news. The search for a man who police say killed a woman in Buffalo overnight comes to a crashing halt on the Thruway this evening. Our Angelica Gallagher spoke with witnesses of the fiery wreck. Angelica?
Marley's suspected killer, Ricky Crouch, is now in custody after state police found the 49-year-old running from the law. We spoke with witnesses who couldn't believe what they were seeing today on the I-90.
I was thinking that there could have been a suspected murderer on the loose. I had heard about the news this morning, and that's when I started to think the crazy thoughts like, what if?
A homicide investigation turned into a car chase Thursday evening, ending in flames along the I-90 eastbound in Hamburg. Buffalo police tell us 49-year-old Ricky Crouch is now in custody after troopers spotted the suspect's vehicle.
These cops are speeding past at what I would say was over 100, it had to have been over 100 miles per hour. And we saw tons of flashing lights. At one point, I actually, in one of the medians, had seen state troopers bent over. It looked like they were pulling something like rifles or something, or maybe stop strips, I'm not sure, out of a bag on the ground.
Officials say Crouch led officers on a high-speed pursuit that ended in a fiery crash.
We saw the car swerve to miss a minivan that had gotten into the left-hand lane. He swerved to miss it, and that's when he ran into the trees. My first instinct was to get out and run to make sure, someone was okay, but it was a fireball.
This crash was the end of a manhunt for Crouch. In a press conference prior to the crash on the 90, Buffalo police said it received a shots fired call shortly after midnight to a home on South Ogden Street, where officers found Amanda Thompson shot. She later died from her injuries. Crouch was then named a person of interest.
He was released early off of parole in 2023, and so he was not on parole at the time of this homicide.
Officials say Crouch was previously in a, quote, domestic relationship with Thompson. He was arrested in May after he broke into her home with a gun and grabbed her by the throat. Police say he then showed up at her home just hours after making bail, violating an order of protection. Crouch's criminal history dates back to 1997, when he was sentenced to nearly 2 decades for the shooting death of a bystander during an attack with rival gangs.
This is a person with a history here that has to be considered a threat to the public. This is a gentleman who has a previous homicide conviction, who was paroled early. Has an issue from the second week of May where he was, bail was set, he got out, he violated an order of protection and was arrested again a couple days later and was released on his own recognizance. And where you have a district attorney's office that was asking for him because he was obviously seen as a threat to be held, but he wasn't, and I think that's a large problem.
Angelica Gallagher, News 4.
The police officers and the DAs all said he's going to harm this woman, and the judge still let him go. I think I'm still in shock. My daughter's gone.
In an exclusive interview with News 4, family members of Amanda Thompson are now speaking out about the issues that happened during her 4-year relationship with Crouch. Muriel Haddon, Thompson's mother, confirmed that Crouch had been violent toward her daughter multiple times over the past few months. Haddon says these incidents involved both Thompson and her children.
I told my older sister, I was like, we need to go outside and see if she's still alive. We went outside and we saw her. I saw her body. I stood on the porch. My sister was in the doorway. I saw her body and I was like, yeah, no, she's gone. She was a wonderful mom. Funny, caring, and like just simple terms of like a good definition of a mom.
As always, you can see all of our coverage on this story on our website, WIVB.com.